Fox Sports.
We are Black We are Sports Zone.
Welcome to Beantown and historic Fenway Park in Boston, the home of the defending world champion Boston Red Sox. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. It's time to pick up a win. The Red Sox have won the first 3 games of this 4-game series in a very convincing fashion. Let's see if the Braves can get out of town with a series salvaging win behind Mike Minor. Hi again, friends, along with Joe Simpson, Chip Carey. Welcome back to historic Fenway Park, where the Braves bats were shut out last night. So tonight, partner, we need a stopper. We also need Mike Minor to turn in a terrific start for Atlanta. That's long overdue as well.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything historic. He just needs to help the Braves hold off the Red Sox while the offense gets going. And for the Atlanta Braves, Mike Minor, his last couple of starts, he's been very sharp. He's gone 1-1. He beat the Milwaukee Brewers, but he lost to the Colorado Rockies 3-1. He only got 1 run of support, and he gave up 2 solo homers, which sometimes can be his downfall. Tonight he'll need that slider, that back foot slider right there against a bunch of right-handed hitters for the Red Sox and against that green monster. He has been exemplary after a loss for the Braves in his career. 18 starts after a loss. He's gone 10-4 at 2.88 ERA. They need more of the same from him like that tonight.
Those fine numbers are Home Depot tools from the dugout for Braves starter Mike Minor. He'll be opposed by Jake Peavy, who's had terrific luck against the National League while pitching in the American League with both the White Sox and now the Boston Red Sox. Coming up, more on Mike Minor on the mound as the Braves and Bo Sox wrap up the season series from Fenway Park next.
the Red Sox needed to get back on track. The Braves will try to change that and avoid the sweep tonight. Hi, everybody. I'm Jen Hildreth at historic Fenway Park. And as cool as it is to be here talking to the Braves players today, they are ready to win here. You can count Mike Minor amongst that group. His first visit here a couple of years ago, not a fond memory. The Braves lost that one 9-4. He gave up 3 home runs. Minor's had a little bit of a problem with home runs this year as well, but as Gerald Laird reminded me, Minor got a late start to the season, still settling in a little bit. I talked to both of Atlanta's catchers to get a little more on tonight's starting pitcher.
Well, he executes pitches, bottom line. We got a good game plan. He's got 2 different fastballs and good off speed to complement that. He goes right after guys, throws a lot of strikes, and gets a lot of outs.
He's got a lot of ways to get you out. I think, he can be a power pitcher when he gets got a good fastball going at 92, 93, but, there's days sometimes where you maybe don't have that, but he can be a crafty pitcher too. He's got great off-speed pitches, and he's got pitches that can get him back in the count. So I think he's got a little mixture of both.
Well, Evan Gattis will be back behind the plate again tonight for Minor. And a little update on Gattis, by the way. He had that wrist injury. He was a late scratch on Tuesday night because he suffered a wrist injury in batting practice. But he said there were no problems last night. It feels good. So he is ready and good to go. So Gattis is good to go. The Braves are good to go. We'll see if they can snap the streak of bad luck they've been on in Boston. First pitch on the way from Fenway.
Georgia Power, The Home Depot, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
This is what a baseball game at Fenway Park should feel like. It's crisp, it's cool, beautiful skies overhead, a perfect night for baseball in a place they call America's most beloved ballpark. And Joe, it's nights like this you can understand that sentiment.
Yeah, this is more like it. Last night it wasn't frigid, but it was bordering on it because of the wind that was blowing in everybody's face. I talked to a lot of fans after the game who said that they absolutely were freezing last night.
But they shouldn't have the same problem tonight. It was a gorgeous day in Boston. Let's hope that leads to better tidings for the Braves in Game 4 of the series. Here is the Toyota starting lineup as presented by Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez. That notable name at the bottom. Boy, it's good to see Andrelton back in the lineup at shortstop. He says the ankle is good to go. He's done good work against the Red Sox, and we'll see how he teams with Tommy La Stella for the first time up the middle as they anchor Atlanta's defense.
And they'll be facing veteran Jake Peavy, who will turn 33 years old in a couple of days. He's 6'1", 195, lives now in Semmes, Alabama. He's in his 12th year in the big leagues, originally signed with the San Diego Padres. Got off to a real good start with the Red Sox in his first full year with Boston, but boy, oh boy, has it been a struggle in the month of May. 6.59 ERA and a 3.13 batting average against him. 87 to 92 on his fastball with a good cutter, slider, and curveball. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. He is very intense. Sometimes a lot like John Lackey, he can beat himself up if things don't get off to a good start. Secondly, long drought. He has not won since the end of April 25th. So he is definitely due to win a ball game, and he's won 133 of those in his big league career.
So the Braves will face Jake Peavy in game 4 tonight. Jason Hayward is the man who will lead things off for Atlanta. The Braves start play tonight 1/2 game ahead of the Marlins in the National League East. Miami is idle tonight, and they'll probably be watching the game in preparation for the opener of our series with them at Marlins Park tomorrow night. Jason Hayward ready to go. A .239 average, 4 homers and 12 runs batted in. He's 3 for 12 this year against the Red Sox. And Peavy's first pitch of the night is taken low, ball 1. Good cut by Jason. That's fouled straight back. A ball and a strike. Jason was 1 for 5 at the plate last night. Gives him 10 hits in 24 career at bats against the Red Sox. No shift for Hayward now with a 2-1 count, and he pops this one a mile high. It'll be Dustin Pedroia on the infield grass, and the Red Sox second baseman makes the play, and Hayward pops out to start game 4 tonight. Official game time temperature 54 degrees.
Quite an improvement over last night. It's only 7 degrees warmer, but it feels a lot warmer because the wind's not as strong.
Here's B.J. Upton. And Peavy misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. B.J. 0 for 3 with a walk in game 1 of the Boston portion of the series. I still haven't figured out, is the 2-gamer in Atlanta one series and this one a series, or is it all 4 games? How should we do it?
I'm going with 1 series.
1 series.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is game 4. The Red Sox, as Upton pops another one up. David Ross, Ryan Lavarnway at first. It'll be the big first baseman, and he's there for out number 2. 2 pop outs from Hayward and Upton start the night for the Braves batsmen.
It's kind of the way things started last night against John Lackey, with a bunch of pop-ups in and around the infield through the first 2 innings. Braves need something kind of set them on fire. They need a big jolt, big inning, and get everybody loosened up and rolling again. Had a bunch of hits last night. They just couldn't get a big one and left 10 men on base.
As a hitter, I'd like to ask you, which is more frustrating, to get no hits and no chances, or a lot of hits and not cash in the chances?
I think it's the fact that you got a lot of base runners and can't get anybody around.
Braves loaded the bases twice last night against Lackey and the Red Sox, but could not push across a run. They suffered their 6th shutout of this 2014 season. Lost for the 9th time in their last 11 games on the road. Evans launched to the left and off the facade of the second deck. And it's 2 balls and a strike for Freddie Freeman. bouncing ball to first. Lavarnway is there, and 2 steps to the bag, takes care of Atlanta in order in the top of the first. Mike Minor to work against the Red Sox in Game 4. At Fenway Park, let's check out the Boston starting lineup. Their skipper is John Farrell, and their starting 9 is, as always, presented by Toyota. Xander Bogaerts has been an on-base machine for the Red Sox. That's what he's done over the last 14 games. No Big Papi tonight. A.J. Pierzynski is the Boston designated hitter. Former Brave David Ross now behind the plate. You know about Ryan Lavarnway. He's at first. And Mike Minor will try to tame the Red Sox and not look over that right shoulder, Joe, at the green monster in left.
That would be a good idea, Chip. 26 years old, 6'4", 220. And makes his 6th start of the year. In interleague play, 4 starts at home, pretty good numbers. 4 starts on the road, not so good in interleague play. 0-4 with a 5.52 ERA. That includes a start here in June of 2012 when he gave up 7 runs. 4 were earned in only 4 2/3 innings. So he'd like a reprieve on that outing for sure. His last 13 road games overall, though, he's 6-3, so that's a good sign. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Well, the Braves need him to be the stopper. They need him to turn this thing around. And a 2-strike alert. Just because you get ahead of these guys doesn't mean anything. They have more hits with 2 strikes than any team in the American League and have reached base 300 times as a team in 2-strike counts.
185 of those 300 times are by hits. That's remarkable. So Minor goes after Brock Holt. He's the Boston third baseman and gets ahead of him with a called strike. So here he is, his first 0-2 count, and facing a man that has the highest batting average in baseball against left-handed pitching as a left-hand hitter. Holt hitting .400 against lefties. But not this time. 3 pitches will take care of him as Gaddis's throw is on the money. 1 down.
Good start for Mike. Always nice when you, for him, have a left-handed hitter come up there that he can put away early and get off to a good start, even though lefties are hitting him at a 300 clip.
Xander Bogaerts is the Boston shortstop. And he takes one belt high for a called strike. High in the air toward left center field. B.J. Upton, Justin Upton will turn and watch that one ricochet off the monster. And Bogaerts glides into second with a 1-out double.
Stayed in the ballpark. That's a good thing. But a mistake here. Up and out over the plate. Bogaerts has had a great series in the 4 games, including this at bat. He's now 5 for 13 against Atlanta. And Mike Minor's last start, he lost 3-1 to Colorado. Only got the 1 run of support, and 2 of the 3 runs came on solo homers.
A strike to Dustin Pedroia, the Red Sox second baseman.
The thing that helped make Mike very successful against Milwaukee 2 starts ago at home was a real good slider, a back foot slider to right-handed hitters. He also had a good 2-seamer in on the right-handed hitters all night. And he'll need that tonight. He's got to keep the right-handers honest so that they're not hanging over the plate and trying to yank the ball to left field.
That's something Pedroia really likes to do in this ballpark. Don't let his diminutive size fool you. He's got plenty of pop. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little dribbler. That's going to spin foul. The third base line. Pedroia back to the plate. And now a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Red Sox are trying to hit their stride after their 10-game losing streak. They've won the last 3 games head-to-head with the Braves. They finally escaped the American League East cellar. They are 8 games behind Toronto, and Boston will host Tampa Bay this weekend. The Braves, meanwhile, head down to Miami and start a series with the Marlins tomorrow. One ball, 2 strikes. To third. Chris Johnson fires across the diamond in time for out number 2. No advance by Bogaerts. And now A.J. Pierzynski hits. He's the DH. Couple of hits last night for A.J., including an RBI, his 25th. A little low, 1 ball, no strikes. That's a pop-up out of play foul. And the count even at 1-1.
Despite the fact that Mike pitched against the Red Sox a couple of years ago, there aren't that many guys in the lineup that have ever faced him. And in fact, there's only 2. Pedroia 1 for 2. Johnny Gomes 1 for 2. Everybody else will be getting their first look at him, except of course David Ross, who's seen a lot of his pitches.
Interesting choice by John Farrell to have Pierzynski DH tonight as a left-hand hitter. Maybe he's trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Last Saturday, Pierzynski hit a homer off David Price. His first homer against a left-handed pitcher since last August. But Mike's ahead of him here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bogaerts at second after a 1-out double.
Last night, Pierzynski did a good job of just battling and one-handing some base hits to center and right.
Bouncing ball up the middle. La Stella knocked it down, and that's the only play he's got. He kept the ball on the infield, and that kept Bogaerts at third base. It's an infield hit for Pierzynski, and guess how many strikes there were?
Yeah, and exactly what he did last night. Just kind of fooled and strong enough to get the bat on it, long enough arms to reach. Neither La Stella nor Simmons were going to let that ball get through and allow Bogaerts to score, so good play there by Tommy to keep the ball in the infield.
First and third for Johnny Gomes. One of the 2 men, as Joe said, that's faced Mike Minor before. He's gotten ahead of these Red Sox hitters in the first inning. He does the same here to Gomes. 5 homers, 23 RBIs for the Boston outfielder. Boy, he has a long pre-at-bat routine, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Mike's ready to go, and then he calls time and starts over.
Outside edge. Good pitch. "16 pitches, 13 strikes in the first so far for Minor. And that's bounced by the Braves dugout foul. Appears to be all right. And out of play again by Johnny Gomes.
Good fastball. Two-seamer running away from Gomes, who took it out on sign in the background that got ripped.
One ball, 2 strikes. Ooh, Minor thought that was good enough.
Mercy.
Looked to be a pretty good pitch. Was it a strike?
On our PNC pitching performance, pitch tracks just off.
High pop into left. Upton broke back. Now comes charging in, and Justin gets there. And that'll retire the side. The Red Sox get a couple of first inning hits, but strand both runners. And for scoreless, heading to the second. Boston, where all season long Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. 3 up, 3 down in the Atlanta first. Justin Upton starts things off in the second inning, and Justin is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
If they could just get a couple of guys hot around him, just think how good things might be. Great numbers against Jake Peavy from facing him when he was with the Padres and Justin was in Arizona. But he just needs a couple of other guys. Don't need everybody. Just a couple other guys to get hot with him.
So Upton, Gaddis, and Chris Johnson versus Peavy in the second. That's way outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Justin had a 6th inning double last night. His only hit in 4 tries. And now the count even at a ball and a strike. Sharply hit deep short. Bogart's gloves and won't be able to make a play. That'll be a hit for Justin Upton, the first of the night for the Braves.
And he's hit in 12 straight games. 7 for 12 now in the series, the 4-game series against the Red Sox. Good start to the inning.
Here's Evan Gaddis. Gaddis was 1 for 4. First action against Boston this year. Gerald Laird did such a terrific job filling in for him with the virus and then with the wrist issue that he suffered back in Atlanta. 1 ball, no strikes. That's well hit toward right center field. Jackie Brantley Jr. on the run near the Boston bullpen and has just enough room to make the play.
Man, oh man, I thought that had enough. You're talking about one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, out in deep right center and near the Red Sox bullpen. And jumped off his bat, but needed another couple of feet.
Upton back at first, 1 out as Peavy a sigh of relief. Chris Johnson the hitter. Chris was 1 for 4. And struck out twice last night. And Peavy jumps ahead of him.
Peavy's last start came against Tampa Bay. At Tampa. Not St. Pete, actually. No decision. 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs. But it also snapped a string of 10 straight games in which he'd given up a homer.
Pretty impressive considering Fenway Park is his home park.
Sure thing.
So many years, Jake, one of the more accomplished pitchers in the National League. Good success with the White Sox, trying to recapture the magic in Boston this year. And off the plate for Chris Johnson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good breaking ball, retires Chris Johnson. That's the second out of the inning and the first strikeout for Peavy tonight. I'm a little concerned about Chris Johnson's strikeout totals. They have been piling up for the Braves third baseman. Ryan going with the batter. 50 strikeouts for Chris. We're a third of the way through the season. He's almost halfway to his season total of 2013.
Yeah, a lot more contact this time last year than what we've seen so far.
And Domet bats for the Braves. Runner at first, 2 outs. Upton reached on an infield hit. And now 0-2.
Jake Peavy, a Cy Young Award winner in the National League in 2007. Went 19-6 with San Diego that year. 3-time All-Star. Has had to battle some elbow and shoulder problems throughout his career. But he's in his 12th season in the big leagues. I was amused to read in his bio that he was going to go to Auburn to play baseball, but that now he's a big Alabama fan. So
how does that work?
Something changed his allegiance.
Yeah.
He was born in Mobile and lives now in Semmes, I believe is how you say it. I'm not 100% on that. S-E-M-M-E-S.
One ball, 2 strikes for Ryan Domet. He asks for time. Little outside. 2-2.
Peavy's a very, as I said, talking about his forward keys, he's intense, he's aggressive, he is, seems like he's coming at you every pitch all night long with no backing off. Has that signature chaw in his jaw.
Runner goes, swing and a miss by Domet. That'll retire Atlanta in the second. An infield hit is all we get. And no score for Grady Sizemore and the Red Sox, who go to work in the second inning. Boston, among those great retired numbers, the one that belongs to Ted Williams. Teddy Ball Game, the splendid splinter. There he is, the native of San Diego, whose crowning achievement, he said, in his big league career was the walk-off homer he hit in the 1941 All-Star Game at Briggs Stadium in Detroit. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning, off the Cubs' Claude Passeau, who, by the way, was facing Williams for the 3rd time in that All-Star Game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Joe Gordon and Joe DiMaggio were the base runners on for Ted Williams' shot. And were it not for a blown double play ball by the National League with Joe DiMaggio at the plate, had they turned it, the game would have ended, and Williams never would have gotten a chance to turn in those heroics in 1941, Joe, which was his signature season with that incredible .406 batting average.
Yeah, and didn't win the MVP award. Something that's always been up for discussion. DiMaggio hit in 56 straight games, and he won the MVP award.
This is Grady Sizemore, who leads things off for Boston. Sizemore's had a nice series against the Braves. A little tapper back to the mound should be easy for Mike, and it is. Hitting 400 is incredible, I mean, in and of itself. But young fans may not realize that on the last day of play, Ted Williams' batting average was .3995. This would have been rounded up to 400. But Ted Williams said, I'm not sitting on my average. I'm going to play. And they had a doubleheader on the final day of the season. All Ted Williams did was go 6 for 8 to finish at 406.
Took care of that, didn't he?
Yeah. Here's Ryan Lavarnway just up from Pawtucket. And he looks high at ball 1.
Watching him swing in batting practice, he's got a big, long, powerful swing.
He's a catcher, first baseman, DH type, perfect guy for the American League, and a nice fit for the Red Sox. We saw him play defensively last night. He came on in the 6th inning for Daniel Nava. And he played a ball off his chest like the catcher would. But he made the play with the pitcher covering. One ball, one strike.
I was talking to a couple of scouts today before the ball game who had just come from watching the Red Sox AA team. I think it's in New Britain, and he was talking about how the Red Sox young pitchers are being implored to work quickly, that they actually are trying to get them to throw a pitch every 20 seconds or so, to work faster, speed the game up.
Rolled toward third and foul.
But honestly, in this series, aside from Clay Buchholz, who found out later was hurt, I don't put these long games on the pitchers. Their hitters take forever to get in the box. They walk around, readjust their gloves, they dig at the dirt, they've got to tug at their helmets. It's ridiculous.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Another aspect of it, to their credit, is that they give you competitive at bats. They foul off a lot of pitches. They get behind in the count. They battle, as we said, with the 2-strike counts. They don't go down easily.
And nobody minds prolonging the game that way.
Right, that's different.
But here we are. 20-25 seconds between pitches for Lavarnway. And he's not the lone offender. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's way outside, and Gaddis wants to talk with Mike about it. I truly believe that's going to be the biggest challenge our game faces in the next 5 to 10 years. Because of many things, but the instantaneous information society we have become,
right?
It's really hard keeping the attention span of even avid fans when the games are lasting 3 hours and 30 minutes.
But especially that age demographic, 18 to 34, that the game has been kind of losing. It's been eroding over the last decade plus, and they need to keep those fans and develop new ones with a game that's fun and exciting to watch, that moves along. And the only game among the major sports that doesn't have a clock.
3 balls, 2 strikes for Ryan Lavarnway. Base is empty, 1 out. And a bouncing ball deep short. Simmons gloves. There's a test of the ankle and the arm, and a beautiful play. That is a deep, deep shortstop throw for Simmons, and it was right on the money for out number 2.
There aren't too many guys in the big leagues who can make this throw on the fly. This is usually a short hop to the first baseman or a 1-hopper at best. Or Zaxby's indescribably good play. I mean, on the money. No trouble. didn't look like there was any trouble planning on a sore ankle either.
Do the infield cutouts here look larger than most ballparks to you? The dirt area?
They do in this regard, and it's around third and around first. There's a big round cutout. It's not straight, and I think maybe it just gives you that impression.
That would be a great way for a grounds crew to maybe play with the minds of a visiting team. Make that dirt cutout a little bit deeper or shorter.
Oh, sure. And it's happened before.
Old pal David Ross digs in and fouls one back. He's behind in the count now. 1-2 strikes. And up and away again for the Red Sox catcher, David Ross.
Well, if we learned nothing about David Ross when he played in Atlanta, we did learn that he could hit a high fastball. So you need to stay out of that belt high and above heater.
High fly ball to center. Ross got under it. And B.J. Upton's there, and he'll make the play. And it's 3 up and 3 down for Boston in a scoreless second inning. And Jason Hayward coming up for Atlanta. First, let's check out tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Great start for the Atlanta Braves, but dating back to the start of that Miami series where the Braves got swept at Marlins Park, they've gone 11-17. Runs per game a little lower than it was at the beginning of the season, but the big difference is the ERA. Pitching has jumped over a run and a half over that stretch, and it had to go up. I mean, the starting pitching was so awesome there for the first 10 days.
But what a night for this young man, Tommy La Stella. His big league debut, a couple of hits. And they weren't cheapies either. They were hard hit. He takes downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Of course, there are fans. They were last night and there are tonight, yelling at the top of their lungs, Stella. For you movie buffs.
Very good. First Brave to have multiple hits in his major league debut since Jason Hayward did that on April 5th against the Cubs in 2010. And he'll roll out to second, and Pedroia takes care of Tommy for out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. Here's Andrelton Simmons. outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Hamilton had gotten into a nice groove. He was putting some good swings together against the Red Sox, and before that against the Rockies, going the other way.
This ball's hit hard toward right. Sizemore onto the warning track near the pesky pole is there, and he puts it away for out number 2.
But another good sign, another well struck ball the other way.
Peavy set down 5 in a row, 8 of his first 9, and now looks at Jason Hayward, who popped out to start the ball game for the Braves.
I was talking about Peavy a minute ago and about his intensity, and one of the things I didn't throw in there was he'll talk to himself. He'll talk to himself out loud while he's pitching, getting mad at himself, chewing himself out.
Down and in, I suppose. 1 ball, no strikes. I don't mind the talking to yourself part, but if you do it in third person and answer, then there might be some bigger problems.
Yeah, if you're the mediator,
yeah.
It's not a good thing.
1-1 pitch, just missed again. It's 2 balls and a strike. Well hit deep right field. Sizemore back at the fence. He's not getting that, baby. Hayward launches one deep into the seats in right, and Atlanta has struck first.
What's unsettling about hitting a ball like that at Fenway Park is as much as he crushed that ball, you weren't sure if it was going to go out. Right at the 380 mark, which is not down the line, but straight away right field, and it just got in about 4 rows. That is so far up in the seats at Turner Field, I can't tell you. And the home run streak for Jake Peavy begins again.
No homers in 10 starts. Now homers allowed in back-to-back outings for the Boston right-hander. The Braves have struck first. They've hit a homer. Those 2 categories usually lead to an Atlanta victory. It's 1-0 with 2 outs in the 3rd. One ball, 2 strikes for B.J. Upton. All of a sudden, he's not making a lot of contact. He does this time, though, and pops it into shallow right. Pedroia drifts out, and Sizemore's there, too. It'll be Pedroia, and that'll take care of the Braves in the 3rd inning. But a long home run for Jason Hayward, who continues to pound Boston pitching. His 5th long ball of the season gives Mike Minor a 1-0 lead. The lone tally in the game so far tonight. And Mike Minor's in front with the 9-1 and 2 hitters up for the Red Sox. It starts with Jackie Bradley Jr. here in the home third. Back-to-back multi-hit games for the Boston center fielder. Fast guy, you don't want to put him on. RBI double for Bradley in the 6th inning last night. 2 RBIs on Tuesday. Bradley, Holt, and Bogarts in the 3rd inning for the Red Sox. Full count pitch. Mile high pop. BJ and Justin converge. It'll be BJ Upton taking over. He's got it. And there's out number 1. Back to the top. Here's young Mr. Holt, impressive player. Boston, though, Joe, is going to have some decisions to make in the next week and a half or so when Stephen Drew comes back from his version of spring training for the Red Sox. They just signed him to that $10 million deal. He's going to be their shortstop. So what do you do with Xander Bogaerts, and what do you do with this guy, Brock Holt, who's been terrific for them?
He has been very good, and gives them a left-handed option off their bench if they elect to move Bogaerts over to third base, which is the assumption everybody's making. Bogaerts is having a good series. He's 5 for 13 against the Braves. Hit a double off the wall tonight. 3 homers.
And he shoots this ball into the gap in left center field. Funny spin. BJ stayed with it. And Brock Holt's aboard with a 1-out hit. Told you how well he hits left-handed pitching. There's an example.
Yeah, and I don't know if Holt can play other positions. If he can play second base, for example, and give Pedroia a day off if he wanted one. But he's swinging the bat well enough to certainly stay here and stay with this club and help him out. But I would guess it's going to be Bogaerts who moves to third base and Holt moves to the bench.
He has played some second base in the big leagues with the Pirates. A handful of games there in 2012, 14 games, and 5 games as a defensive replacement for Boston at second. Well, Bogaerts is trying to make a positive impression as a shortstop. He's certainly done that. He had a note a moment ago. Since May 21st, the day the Red Sox announced the signing of Stephen Drew, all Bogaerts has done is go 13 for 34 at the plate.
Funny how that worked.
Holt's a good lead. And a pop up by Bogaerts. Right side of the diamond, Freddie Freeman and La Stella. La Stella says he's got it, and he does. 2 out.
How about that? La Stella coming in there and taking charge and calling him off. I'd like to see that. Would have been real easy to let Freddie just stand there and take it. Well, it was nice after the ball game too. I went to the clubhouse, came out. As I was about to leave, Tommy had his baseball in his hand from his first hit, and I said, "I think I know where that's going." And he said, "Yes, sir, you do." And he walked out, and there's his family, and his dad was just all hugs and tears. And Tommy gave the baseball to him. It was a good scene. Wish Norman Rockwell had been there. Here's Mr. Listella in the middle of the picture.
Nothing in 2 for Pedroia. Runner goes. The pitch chopped toward first and foul. Do it again.
The reason my opinion is they'll keep Holt is because he can do a lot of things for your club off the bench, not just spell guys occasionally if they need a day off, but he can pinch run. He's got good speed. He can pinch hit. So there's definite value on your bench for a guy like that.
Managers love interchangeable parts. Holt is definitely one of those. Not going, and Pedroia looks inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And here's that 2-strike alert again.
Last year, Pedroia played in every game but 2 for Boston. Hit .301, 42 doubles, 84 RBIs, 91 runs, only 5 errors.
He's only made 1 this year.
In fact, in his major league career, the most errors he's ever committed in a season is 7.
That is so good.
Career .991 fielding percentage. That's a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I wonder how many times he does that to himself a year. That big uppercut swing.
Yeah, and his feet aren't that big.
Good point.
It's kind of hard to hit him.
Yeah.
He's got a shin guard on. That helped. Not a shin guard, but a foot guard.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And a little flip in the air to center that B.J. Upton should catch. He's got it, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit. A man left. Braves 1, Boston nothing. for their fourth look at Jake Peavy. And as they bat, they'll try to outwit Boston catcher David Ross, who's the subject of tonight's Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
You know, this is something to really be proud of. Since 2009, he has the best ERA among catchers, meaning what the pitcher's ERA is while he's catching, over such notables as A.J. Ellis and Yadier Molina. Posey and McCann high on that list as well. So that's very impressive.
If you're ahead of Yadier Molina in anything with regards to defense, that is amazing. Freddie Freeman's the batter.
With all due respect to those guys on that list, they all catch good pitching staffs or have in the past, and that makes a huge difference too. And you got some guys who know what they're doing.
2 balls, no strikes. And Freeman looks low and away at 3-0. Saw the name A.J. Ellis on that list. He won't have a chance to improve his standing for a while. He injured his ankle during Josh Beckett's no-hitter. A strike. He wasn't the catcher, though. Drew Butera was. And during the celebration of the no-hitter, Ellis was jumping around and apparently stepped on the catcher's mask and turned an ankle. Outside. Good start for Freddie. He'll walk to begin the Braves' 4th inning.
And Drew Butera denied having anything to do, any wrongdoing there in an effort to catch more.
So Peavy back to the stretch. Second time he's been there tonight. Justin Upton sent him to the stretch in the 2nd inning with an infield hit.
Jake's walked a bunch of guys. That's his 29th in 63 innings. See if that gets him to talking to himself.
And he and David Ross want to talk it over. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Mets are playing better. They have taken a 3-0 lead over the Phillies tonight. And ripped back our way. And out of play for a strike. Swing and a miss.
2 pitches ago. Cameras caught him yelling at himself.
The 1-2 for Justin Upton is on the way. And he strokes one toward right center field. Bradley is going to get there. And he sets nicely with the catch. Freddie retreats to first. And Upton is out number 1. In that Mets game, David Buchanan's pitching for the Phillies. Picked up his first big league win a start or 2 ago. He's out of Peachtree City. He's the first player from Georgia State University in the big leagues.
Hey, that's great. I know the regionals start tomorrow, and Kennesaw State's in, and Georgia Southern, I believe, is in.
So Exciting times for the college fans and players as Gaddis lost the bat handle with the left wrist. His way shaking that. He'll rub some dirt on it. Evan drove Sizemore and Bradley to the outfield fence his first time up.
And it's his left wrist too that was bothering him. Kennesaw State and Georgia Southern are in the same regional with Florida State and Alabama.
Now Peavy's ready. Two balls and a strike. And I think Peavy just balked. He did. I think Peavy went to the mouth and didn't wipe.
Guess who got him? Balkaday Bob. And Pedroia had to intervene there and keep Peavy from taking up the argument. Oh yeah, he did. His arm moved.
It wasn't the wipe. It was the twitch right there.
And it wasn't a continuous motion. Good call.
So there's the rest of the crew. Bob Davidson got it right. And that could lead to a run if Gaddis can pick up a hit. 2 balls and a strike. And a shot in the left field is in safely. Gomes fields cleanly. Freeman around third. Throw toward the plate will be late. And Gaddis into second. It's a 2-0 Atlanta lead. A walk, a balk, and a single.
Take it. That sounds like a Boston rally. Fastball running in on him. Target was away. So a misplaced pitch. Gaddis comes through. Good piece of base running here by Freeman. Hitting third base in stride, and Doug DeCenzo never wavered on that. And good base running by Gaddis to go to second on the throw.
22 RBIs for Evan. Now a chance for a bigger inning. Chris Johnson's the batter. He struck out his first time up. Two runs on 3 hits for the Braves tonight. A Hayward homer, a Gaddis RBI hit.
A lot of sign problems this inning between Ross and Peavy.
High fly ball, right center field. Bradley drifts back. He'll make the catch. And there's the second out. Boy, he looks to get himself in good throwing position when he makes the catch, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been taught well by somebody about getting behind the baseball, catching it over his throwing shoulder. Nicely done. Good fundamentals. Gets himself in the right throwing position. Headed toward third base. Well, he didn't catch that over his throwing shoulder, but he was headed toward the line toward third base in case he had to make a throw.
So Chris flies out. Here's Ryan Domit. He struck out to end the Braves' second inning of play. Swing and a miss. Bogarts plays behind Gaddis out at second, trying to keep him a step or two closer to the bag. Big hole on the left side if Domit can fill it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Peavy up to 56 pitches. He's thrown 32 strikes. Bad painted a corner. It's 1-2. And another meeting between Ross and Peavy. Long inning, not a whole lot of action, but the Braves have scored a second run. High fly toward left. Gomes will drift back, and he's got plenty of room in front of the warning track, and he'll make the play. The Braves got a walk, a balk, and a single from Evan Gaddis. Jake Peavy talking to himself again. He's down 2-0 in the fourth.
What do you think? Booker T and the MGs? A little bit organ music.
A little before my time, pal. But I'll take your word for it. I know they play Sweet Caroline here. That's kind of your era too, right? Neil Diamond?
That'll be a little later.
Yes.
There's Greg Colburn in the red jacket there, sliding over for LaVarn Way, former Brave and now the hitting coach for the Red Sox.
So the lead for Mike Minor now 2-0. And he'll face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Bo Sox: Pierzynski, Combs, and Grady Sizemore. Nothing in 2. Pierzynski had an infield hit on a 1-2 pitch in the opening inning.
Got the home run in the 3rd to back him up and shut him down in the 3rd inning on just 1 hit. Got another run in the 4th. See if he can have a shutdown inning here with the middle of their order.
Broken bat. Freeman fields. Minor covers. Perfect coordination. Pierzynski's retired, 1 out. Here's Gomes. Drilled deep left. That one high off the wall. Upton played it marvelously, and it's a long single for Gomes.
Well, he turned on that pitch. I'm not sure what it was, or if it was a slider that he wanted to get down and in and didn't. His fastball down the middle. Short, quick swing. And the thing about playing the ball off the wall here in left field, excellent job by Justin, is that you can get too close to the wall to play the carom. And when it comes down, if you don't catch it on the fly and it lands on the warning track, there's a real good chance it's going to bounce over your head, and then you're chasing the baseball all over the place.
I was joking with Justin earlier today. He said, "Hey, playing that left field pretty well." He said, "I like it." A 37-foot high wall that runs 231 feet from the left field line all the way out to left center.
I did like it. I liked.
Did you?
I like playing left, and I like playing center. I did not like playing right field here.
No balls and a strike.
I kind of explained last night that when you're playing right field, you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere because there's so much room behind you. You're just not used to the fence and straightaway right field being so deep back there. And you feel like you need to back up all the time.
Grady Sizemore tapped back to the mound his first time. And he takes a little low.
There was a kind of a general rule of thumb for me, and it's about, it looks like from here, it looks like Jason's there, and that was line myself up with the pesky pole. As long as I didn't vary too far from being straight across from the pole, then I knew that I wasn't getting too far away from home plate.
Downstairs. Left field here, of course, a very small piece of real estate, but center and right, very big chunks of territory for an outfield to cover. I don't know if there's anything that closely approximates that in our league, with the exception of maybe Denver, but for very different reasons. The altitude.
Right.
To first. Freeman will fire to second for 1, and the return to first in plenty of time.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. 3-6-3 double play. That duo, the best in the business at turning that trick for Atlanta. We head to the 5th. 2-0 Braves.
in his second major league game. I talked to Tommy today, asked how he was feeling after his first one last night, and he said, I do feel a little more comfortable. This is a pretty intense environment. And you know what you don't sense with him, guys? Timidity. You see how he called Freddie Freeman off of that pop-up a few innings ago? This guy seems very comfortable and secure.
You got to feel that way, Jen, when you get to this level. I mean, you defer to the veterans on many things. But as someone told him when he was called up, maybe it was Evan Gaddis, said, you know, don't change. Play the way you've been playing. Still baseball. And if you're a take charge guy, then be a take charge guy.
Tommy rolled out to second to begin the Braves' third inning. He leads off the fifth. Atlanta 2, Boston nothing. And Peavy missed inside with an 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
This is getting almost comical.
Yeah.
Two veteran guys. I mean, David's got fingernail polish on. Now look, he's even putting it up against his chest protector. I don't know if Jake wears contacts or not, but he may need to get some.
Little flip toward left that's playable for Gomes. He'll drift back, and he's there for out number one. And I think it is a vision problem for Peavy.
You can't see. I mean, David Ross was so frustrated with it. I mean, he just put his fingers in front of his chest protector. You don't see that happen.
Now he's not using the fingers, but touch signs for Peavy. And a line drive off the bat of Simmons headed towards center field. Bradley cuts it off. And Andrelton Simmons aboard with a one-out single.
Boy, this is good to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is Andrelton Simmons at his best when he's hitting the ball to all fields. He had lost right field for a couple of weeks. He hit a home run, then all of a sudden he was trying to drop back on that back leg and uppercut everything, and Greg Walker and Scott Fletcher have gotten him back to using every part of the park.
Jason Hayward's been doing that too, although he crushed a ball to deep right last time up for a solo homer in the game's first run. Simmons is running. Ross's throw towards second is tailing and intercepted by Bogarts on the infield grass. So Simmons with a steal, his first of the year. And any questions about his ankle have been answered very early tonight.
Got a huge jump. Went on the first pitch, went on the first move. Good crossover step, and he had 3 or 4 steps by the time Peavy let it go. You know how hard it is to steal on David Ross.
26 steals for the Braves club this year. And now Hayward takes one up the middle. Pedroia knocked it down, kept it on the infield. That saved a run. It's an infield hit for Jason, though. And the Braves have runners first and third with one out.
We're talking about Dustin Pedroia's defensive ability as Jason went down and got that low fastball, but this saved a run by gloving it. Now, he knew there wasn't a force. He's obviously just trying to get the ball to Bogarts in case Simmons tried to score. Run-saving play for the moment.
Here's where the Braves want some contact with depth from B.J. Upton. He's popped to first. He's popped to second. And ball one off the plate.
And Peavy yelling at himself.
smoke towards short. Bogarts to his right is there to make the play. And Upton's retired. 2 outs.
I tell you, BJ's hitting some tough luck. Remember last couple of games at home, he was hitting the ball on the nose and didn't have much to show for it, and that ball was hit on a line.
So Freeman bats. He's grounded out to first. He's walked and he has scored. And a bouncing ball foul past Terry Pendleton. Red Sox try to catch up with Toronto in the East. The Jays are playing Kansas City tonight and leading 4-3. Jays are absolutely crushing the baseball in May. Edwin Encarnacion hit his 15th home run this month.
Goodness.
That's the most by a Jay in any month in their team's history. Put that in perspective, the entire Kansas City Royals team has hit 22.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is Toronto's not a team that Kansas City wants to be playing right now. Not the way they've been struggling.
No.
Not the way Kansas City has been struggling.
1 ball, 1 strike. Good cut by Freeman. He was all over that pitch and it skied straight back. Ross is going through a set of sides, but Peavy's not looking at it.
It's mostly for the infielders. This is in case the Braves try to double steal. I mean, naturally Peavy needs to know what he's going to do with the baseball, but he's letting the middle infielders and the third baseman know if he's going to throw through or if he's going to pump fake go to third.
Didn't get the inside corner. Boy, you can hear Peavy grunt as he releases the baseball. To first. LeBarn waves at the bag and steps on the base. And that's it for Atlanta in the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Bottom of the order up for the Red Sox. They trail 2-0. Jen Hildreth along as well as we wrap up our season series with the Red Sox. Friends, pop sensation Austin Mahone's part of the Braves Summer Concert Series presented by Coca-Cola and Delta. June 3rd, stay after the game for a free post-game concert. Limited VIP field passes are available for the show for just $20. Visit Braves.com/concerts today. Trivia time. Our AT&T Uverse trivia question from Boston is, since 2004, who's the only pitcher with more strikeouts and a lower ERA than Jake Peavy?
And that pitcher's got both. What a pinch hitter here.
Daniel Nava. He's going to hit for LaVarnway. It's kind of what John Farrell did last night. Nava got a couple of at-bats and came out midway through the game. LaVarnway took his place. Now the roles are reversed in Game 4 against Mike Minor. Way outside. First name that came to mind on trivia was Josh Beckett, who was in the news, obviously. We talked about that. No hitter with Dodgers.
More strikeouts and lower ERA on one guy. Since what year?
04.
So that predates even Verlander. He hasn't been around that long.
Way upstairs. Now 3 balls and a strike. David Ross, Jackie Bradley to follow for the Red Sox. Very quiet crowd so far in Boston as Atlanta's jumped in front by 2. A Hayward homer in the 3rd. A walk, a balk, and a Gaddis single. Scored a second Braves run in the 4th. Nava had a pretty good cut. Nava's out of Redwood City, California. A non-drafted free agent signed by the Red Sox in 2008. And he didn't get a high fastball, up and in. And Minor strikes out the Boston leadoff man here in the 5th inning. His second strikeout of the game.
Elevated one up and in. Nava couldn't catch up.
David Ross. He's 0 for 1 tonight. In for a strike. And think of our great sport and the iconic photographs that are taken of great moments in history. You know, Ty Cobb's slide at third base with the dust flying oh so many years ago. One of the earliest great photographs of our game. You always see the championship moments in baseball when the catcher is leaping into the arms of the pitcher who finishes up the game. Braves fans know about Greg Olson's leap into the arms of John Smoltz way back in the early 90s. David Ross had that moment with the Red Sox last year. As this ball's hit high in the air toward left center field, that ball is going to hit high off the monster, and David Ross is chugging towards second, and he'll slide in ahead of the throw. That time we heard the metallic ricochet off the monster. That one caught part of the National League scoreboard, it appeared.
And look at Jason Hayward. He came running over from right field in case BJ went for this ball, had a chance to jump for it, something like that, and then it comes off the wall. Somebody's got to be there to back up the play. And Hayward had come all the way over from right field. Justin Upton had come over to help out. You see him there just in case it was going to be a leaping effort. Good hustle by the two corner outfielders.
Two different surfaces cover the Green Monster. You have the metal of the scoreboard with all the ads and American League East standings. But above that, it's hard plastic, actually. The original Green Monster was wood, burned down in 1934, and was rebuilt with tin. And after the 1975 season, they covered that wall with a hardened plastic type surface.
I didn't know that.
And all kinds of. This ball up the middle. Simmons gives ground, grabs, and guns to first and gets Jackie Bradley. Good play by Simmons. Ross to third, 2 outs.
There's one of those defensive runs saved right there. Pedroia did it in the top half of the inning.
Braves will talk strategy with Brock Holt coming up. And all kinds of ads all over the Green Monster until 1947. It was just known as the Wall until then. Then the Red Sox organization painted that entire wall the green color you see now, and the nickname the Green Monster took over, and it's been known as such ever since.
That explains why you don't see a lot of dents in the wall. There are some up there, but when it was tin,
right,
it had a lot of shrapnel.
And the wall was originally built by the Red Sox owner John L. Taylor, not as some sort of esoteric architectural quirk, but an economic one. He wanted to keep the non-paying customers who were working on Lansdowne Street from seeing the game without paying. High fly ball to left by Brock Holt. Upton back, up against the fence. It's up off the wall. A run is in. Brock Holt has doubled, and the Red Sox are on the board. One of those tweener fly balls. And Holt is at second with his 7th RBI.
Tell you what, he continues to impress going the other way against a left-handed pitcher. And Justin, thinking he might have had a play on it, got himself caught too close to the wall, but that's understandable. He wanted to try and catch it, but able to block it when it came off. And with 2 outs, Ross was running on the play anyway.
So a fast man at second with 2 outs for Xander Bogaerts, who's doubled and popped out. And now down a strike. To third. Chris has it. He'll throw on the run and in time to take care of Bogaerts and Boston. A couple of doubles for the Red Sox cuts the Braves lead in half. Justin Upton leads off the 6th. He'll start our Delta Airlines trio next.
and AT&T.
Well, moments ago, I was telling you a little bit about the history of the fabled green monster here in Boston. There you see the original wood edifice, and it burned down in the 1930s, was rebuilt with tin. There are all those ads we talked about. There is one of the most unmistakable and iconic camera angles in baseball. That camera is actually located inside the green monster between the ball and strike indicator in straightaway left field.
A lot of our traveling party were treated to an in-depth tour today of the ballpark, including going inside the green monster. Our Gretchen Keeney was among the group that was treated to that tour. The Red Sox really did it in high style, gave them lunch, and it was something enjoyed by all of them. And I learned something from them today that I didn't know. The lower bowl of seats up to a certain row number, just about to the edge of the overhang, are red seats. Above that, up under the overhang, all the way around, are blue seats. And those blue seats are all original. They've been
100 years old original, you mean?
Yes, they've been taken. I was told they've been repainted, of course, but each time they're lifted up off the concrete, they are repainted, sanded, repainted, and put right back where they were. So they've been in that exact spot for as long as they were originally placed there. Now, were they placed there when this stadium was built? Can't answer that. But they've been there at least since 1936 when they did the redo of the stadium here.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Justin Upton. So if this 100-year-old ballpark, which has been such a generational treasure for baseball fans in New England, there's a real chance you could come to a game and end up sitting in the seat your grandma or your grandpa sat in.
That's what they were saying, that there are people who have ticket stubs from a great grandfather, let's say, who sat in these seats. These were where his season tickets were in seat 10 there, and they can come sit on the same wood in the same seat where their great grandfather sat. That is pretty cool.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Upton. I know we brag all the time about Dodger Stadium and how pristine and remarkable that beautiful 1960s era ballpark is. I was shocked and amazed and incredibly happy to see the loving care that the fans treat this place after the game. The concourse level, 37,000 people walking in and out of this place. Not a spot of dirt, not a soda cup, candy wrapper, nothing. As Petey just missed.
It's my favorite park. It's my favorite park to play in, even as an opponent, and it's my favorite park in baseball because of what it looks like, how it fits into this neighborhood, and how it's treated.
Popped up. Bogarts and Pedroia, who wants it? It'll be Pedroia behind the second base bag, and Upton's retired. 1 away in the 6th inning. 2-1 is our score. Single runs for the Braves in the 3rd and 4th. Boston came up with a run in the 5th. And here's Gaddis. Evan knocked in his 22nd run in that 4th inning.
And he and David Ross are talking, and Evan might have been saying, how did you hit that pitch for the double? And David Ross might have said, well, how did you hit the pitch to drive in the run?
I sure hope they're talking about that and not what shade of fingernail polish to wear so the pitchers can see the signs. That would be a bit of a problem. Downstairs, ball, no strikes.
Best seat in the house.
Evan reached for that ball and popped it into shallow right. Pedroia ranges out at the line and in fair ground reaches out to make the play.
You know, he had just a moment there where after he caught the ball and then started to throw it in, he saw Gaddis running and he started to rear back like, oh, he's going to second. Almost like he'd forgotten, oh, yeah, I already caught the ball. Fair ball. No, that's his. And then he thought, oh, wait, no, I don't have to throw it.
He is fun to watch. Chris Johnson. Chris struck out and flied out. And takes high, ball one. Sky down the right field line and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boston will have its 3, 4, and 5 hitters up in the 6th. They're down a run. They're trying to hold on to a 2-1 lead now in the wrap up against John Farrell's Red Sox. And Johnson took the call, 3rd strike. 3 up, 3 down for Jake Peavy. A very efficient top of the 6th inning. Boston's bats go back to work at historic Fenway Park. It's a 1-run Atlanta game. Inning. Time for you now to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by our friends at AT&T. Pedroia, bouncing ball toward 3rd, and the play made by Chris Johnson for out number 1.
Nice quick out there from Mike against a tough hitter, keeping him off the bases.
You mentioned earlier Mike's lone appearance in this ballpark so many years ago wasn't particularly fun for him. He's pitching a beautiful ball game tonight. A 7.70 ERA for Minor in 1 start back in Boston in 2012. Tonight he's given up only 1 run and 6 Red Sox hits. One of those hits to Przinsky, who bats now. Rolls 1 foul beyond the Boston dugout.
85 pitches and 62 strikes so far for Mike. That's pretty impressive. It's another thing about this ballpark. You can't walk people. There's going to be enough base runners as it is against this Boston team without putting men on base.
I would assume that's magnified for left-handed pitchers with the right-hand heavy hitting Boston lineup in the Green Monster.
Exactly. Braves won 5 last night, 1 scored.
Outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. One other bit of trivia about this ballpark. See that white line with the dots and dashes on it?
I do.
If memory serves, Tom Yawkey was the former owner of the Red Sox. And he was in the Signal Corps in the military. And I was told years ago that those dots and dashes say Tom and Gene Yawkey in Morse code.
Correct.
Hot shot, foul past first. Brzezinski's still alive.
They owned the team for a lot of years.
Yawkey Way, one of the streets outside Fenway Park. And a shot toward left by Brzezinski, and Upton is right there. He had AJ played perfectly. There's the second out. And you could literally spend an entire broadcast here, Wrigley Field, old Yankee Stadium, and just run down any architectural feature, and it will have some significant meaning in the history of the franchise, the club that plays there the most.
Well, there's one seat out in the bleachers in right field, way up above the bullpen, where it's still marked where Ted Williams hit a home run. I believe it's a red seat amongst a lot of blue seats.
It's about midway up behind the Braves bullpen. It was measured at 502 feet from the plate.
Someone planted in it right now.
Johnny Gomes the hitter, and even count. If you ever get a chance to come to Fenway Park and get here for batting practice, you can go up and sit in that area. And when you do, and you see how far that is from home plate, it seems almost a physical impossibility that a human being could hit a ball that far.
It's like those seats they had at RFK Stadium where Frank Howard hit balls in the upper deck.
That's an excellent point.
Straightaway center field. There's no way.
Swing and a miss. We're told it's 37 rows behind the Braves bullpen. That red Ted Williams seat.
Those are all red, though, aren't they? So maybe I've got it reversed color-wise.
No, well, the seat is red. The one that they have painted. Those seats are, I think, a dark green color.
Are they?
Yep.
Well, you know me.
2 balls, 2 strikes. As Minor goes back to work against Johnny Gomes, and he had him reaching again, and it's popped up again. La Stella and Simmons. Andrelton will put that away, and Mike Minor is rolling merrily along.
That was Hamilton in the green uniform, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. 2-1 lead. We invite you to secure your spot on the new ballpark priority list today. This gives fans who are not current season ticket holders access to buy season tickets for the new Braves ballpark when it opens in 2017. Joining the priority list requires a $100 refundable deposit. Go to braves.com/new ballpark and sign up today. Domet, La Stella, and Simmons. Jake Peavy back out there for the Red Sox. He hasn't pitched badly at all.
His 6th inning, the best for him since the 1st inning after he was given one of his runs back.
But a walk and a balk cost him the decisive run so far tonight. He's into the 7th inning against Ryan Domet. And Domet is down on strikes.
Well, Ryan's had some trouble making contact. He was so hot off the bench, but in these 2 games DHing has not been good to him.
Did you like DHing? Did you do it much in the American League?
I didn't. If I did it once or twice, that was a lot. So, and no, the answer to your question is no, I didn't.
Some guys take to it without problem. Others say they just hate it because they can't get in the flow of the game.
Right.
Here's La Stella. And Tommy takes a strike. He's had a good night with the glove and is looking for his first hit in his 2nd big league game after picking up 2 last night in his debut. And he's behind 0-2.
Again, one of the toughest, if not the toughest, to fan in the International League. 14 at bats per strikeout.
Don't see many guys with a setup like Tommy La Stella, the bat resting on the shoulder when pitcher begins his motion.
Calm hands.
And good eye. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a bouncer to the right side. Nava's got it. He'll flip to Peavy, who covers the bag. And there's the 2nd out of the inning. By the way, we got word on Ryan Lavarnway. He left with left wrist soreness tonight for Boston.
I'm not sure how or when he did that, but like I said, watching him in batting practice, big, long uppercut swing. And there might have been a check swinger somewhere along the way that, remember, he fouled some balls off too in one of his at-bats. Maybe he strained it then.
Peavy sent down 7 straight. Andrelton Simmons is the batter. Andrelton singled in the Braves' 5th. So he's 1 for 2. And a line drive to left. So he singled to right, he singled to left, and he's 2 for 3. And that turns the lineup back over to Jason Hayward, who's got a couple of hits himself.
See, he knows he can do that. He can pull the ball, and after really kind of setting him up his first couple of at-bats and hitting the ball the other way, he was ready to turn on something if they made a mistake in there.
Jason now with hits in 15 of his last 17 games. And a shot towards second. Pedroia gives ground and makes a good play. And that retires the side. 7th inning stretch in Boston. Atlanta leads Jake Peavy 2-1. about the need for him to be the Braves stopper. Knock on wood, he has been so far.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Gave up a couple of hits in the first inning, but pitched around those. Gave up a run in the fifth, but all in all, he's done a good job of keeping the ball down. He's making the right-handers reach for the ball a lot, and he's had some good defense played behind him too. Andrelton Simmons made a couple of good plays behind him. Jason Hayward a home run, Evan Gattis an RBI single have accounted for the Braves 2 runs. Good game.
That's our Georgia Power game summary as Minor faces off with Grady Sizemore, who's 0 for 2 tonight. That missed inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Mets still lead the Phillies 4-0. That's in the 7th inning. The Giants and Cardinals are underway. 2-1 San Francisco. As activity begins in the Braves bullpen. 1-1 now for Sizemore. Caught a corner and Grady took it. Nava and Ross to follow for the Red Sox. Base hit to right. A 2-strike hit for Sizemore. That one on a 2-2 count. So a fast man aboard representing the tying run in the 7th.
Yeah, Mike shook off Gattis. Gattis wanted a fastball in. Mike wanted to throw a slider. But all it did was tumble. It didn't have any snap to it. He was able to pull it through the hole.
So no Lavarnway is out with a sore wrist. Daniel Nava's second at bat comes here in the 7th inning. He struck out in the 5th. And a bunt. That is pushed foul. That is something John Farrell has employed a time or two with this Red Sox offense, and it has drawn a bit of ire among some of the fans and media here in the hub.
Well, if you're trying to win a game and you need a bunt to put down for this lineup, I don't understand why they would be upset. They have all of 6. Remember, they don't have pitchers hitting, so they don't have any attributed to any pitchers. And that's one more than the Braves have among position players.
So Nava gives up a strike. His bunt try was foul. Sizemore leads. No bunt this time, and it's a belt tie strike. 0-2. That's in the air foul and out of play again. Braves would love Minor to get through this 7th inning with the lead. That would set things up for Carpenter and Kimbrel.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. They're well rested.
7 hits for Boston tonight. 3 of them have come with 2 strikes. That's the count for Nava. 0-2. Tying runner at first. Fly ball center. And B.J. Upton is there. There's the first out of the inning.
Avilan's also loosening up down there now.
Remember, David Ortiz did not start the game for the Red Sox. He's lurking on their bench. Doubt we'd see him here in the 7th, but in the 8th and certainly the 9th if needed, he would be available for the Red Sox. Here's Ross. David has a double and a run scored. At the knees, outside corner. Pretty pitch.
PNC pitching performance on Fox Tracks. Pitch right at the bottom of the zone.
Very consistent work for Mike Minor. Had some first inning trouble. Very little since. And Ross didn't get that pitch. That was away from him. 1-2.
He's had a good two-seamer tonight. I'm not sure if that's what that was. Kind of darted down and away from David, but a good pitch.
Was too high. That one perfectly placed, and Ross took it. 3rd strikeout for Mike Minor. 2nd out of the Boston 7th.
That's a big one, too. Good curveball. Evan almost came up out of his crouch a little too much, but then got down enough to give Bill Welke a good look at it. Got the call.
So Bradley the batter. Runner at first. 2 outs now for the Boston center fielder. That's in the dirt low.
The way he has taken left-handed pitching the other way, and with good success in this 4-game series, grounded to short his last time up. I think I'd be inclined to play him a little more that way.
Especially if you're going to pitch him like that.
I'm not sure that's what Mike had in mind there.
Baseball America says this kid in the batter's box is the best defensive outfielder in the Red Sox system. There's that shot the other way, Joe, and right at Simmons, who went to a knee to make the play. And the throw to first is perfect to retire the side. Grady Sizemore singled to start the inning. He was left anchored there as we head to the 8th. presented by the Georgia Lottery. 7 complete in Boston. The Braves lead the Red Sox by a 2-1 score. B.J. Upton, Freddie Freeman, and Justin Upton will try to provide a little insurance for Mike Minor, who was outstanding tonight. First pitch, ground ball, base hit left by B.J.
He was due that hit after that line shot out his last time up.
Let's see if he's doing some running here. Upton has stolen 8 of 10 bags this year. Anderson Simmons already has a steal tonight for the Braves.
Big lead.
Downstairs for Freeman. 1 ball, no strikes. Badenhop has begun to warm in the Boston bullpen. Runner goes. Swing and a fly ball center. Bradley broke in now on a sprint to the warning track. That ball is high off the wall. Bradley played it nicely. Upton around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be late. Upton scores standing up on a Freeman rocket double to center.
That was a bolt. Slider that came back to him, supposed to be a backdoor slider. Instead, it was down the middle slider. Bradley made a nice play off the wall, but BJ read this perfectly. He even was kind of dancing around second base here, waiting for it to hit the wall. So a good read by him, and then an overthrow of the first relay man by Bradley allowed him to score standing.
So the Braves add an insurance run in the 8th. Freeman's 29th RBI. It's now a 3-1 Braves lead, and here's Justin Upton. Nobody out. Strike 1. And another meeting for Jake Peavy.
That's a real big run at this point. One more would be very nice.
One ball, one strike. Braves can pick up a half game on the Marlins, who are idle tonight, if they can finish off this win in Boston tonight. That's out of play, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miami had a very late travel night last night, we understand, but they have the evening off. They'll be well rested. Braves will be very, very early arrivers in Miami tomorrow morning. To second. Pedroia with a look to third. He has only 1 play. A productive out for Justin Upton.
I'll say good job. Cleanup hitter, got it done, got the guy over, and sets up Gaddis and Johnson for a chance to drive him in.
The infield appears to be in for the Red Sox. Gaddis the hitter. An RBI hit in the 4th.
Everybody up off the bench to high five Justin for that effort.
That's inside for Evan. 1 ball, no strikes. First at bat for Gaddis. Chased Bradley to the bullpen fence in front of the Red Sox relief corps. That was in the 2nd inning. 4th inning RBI single, and then in the 6th he popped out to Pedroia. And just missed. 2-0.
PNC pitching performance. Fox tracks. He wanted it and probably should have gotten it. That appeared to be a shin burger. Maybe right on the ankle. Trying to get a little feeling back. He's hurting.
Two balls, 1 strike. Ground ball to Bogarts at short. No chance for Freeman to advance. Infield in. Cut off a run there. 2 outs. Now they can back up to normal depth for third baseman Chris Johnson. Single runs in the 3rd, 4th, and here in the 8th for the Braves. 3-1 game. To third. Holtz got it. Long throw across and in time. And Peavy a nice job of minimizing the damage. But Freddie Freeman doubled high off the Green Monster. That brought home B.J. Upton for a 3-1 lead. Sox, who trail 3-1. Get your tickets now to see Freddie Freeman and the Braves take on Mike Trout and the Angels June 13th through the 15th. Get your tickets today at braves.com/tickets. That game on the 15th, we understand now, has been picked up for the Sunday night telecast, so make your attendance plans accordingly. As we promised you earlier tonight, we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast that's brought to you by AT&T.
That looks like a house divided right there. The Sandovals.
I'm on her side.
Me too.
David Carpenter takes over. Got to get a tough hitter. Brock Holt, 2 more hits tonight. He singled and doubled home the lone run for the Red Sox.
Good numbers for David. 4-0 record, excellent ERA. And has struck out 27 men in 22+ innings. But cannot afford to put the leadoff man on here with the better part of their lineup coming up behind him.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. Freddie Gonzalez's club has quieted the crowd in Boston for the most part tonight. Atlanta leads 3-1. And a little flare into shallow left is going to drop and gets by Upton. Simmons backs up the play though. He'll recover, but not before Holt stands at second base.
The way the Red Sox beat the Braves in Atlanta was this type of hitting, just dumping them in, broken bats, hitting them in no man's land, and unfortunate that got by Justin. He can't afford to do that even with a 2-run lead, but to get a base hit, that's one thing, but try to keep the force in order.
A single and an E7. The 5th error on Upton. Now Bogaerts bats. He's doubled in 3 trips and represents the tying run. Carpenter strike.
David had an inning of work against the Red Sox 3 days ago. Perfect inning with a couple of strikeouts.
Out of play for Bogaerts, who has been an on-base machine. Counting tonight's double, Bogaerts has been on base 81 times this year. That's the most by a Red Sox rookie before June 1st in 100 years.
No fooling.
Counting tonight, he's on in 16 of his last 17 games. He leads the club in batting average, hits, and total bases.
More than Frank Malzone. Yes.
Doesn't say Frank Malzone, it just says 100 years.
More than Pumpsy Green?
Maybe more than Pumpsy Green. Not by a lot, though. And 2 for Xander Bogaerts. Simmons and LaStella try to keep Holt close at second. Off the plate. It's 1-2. Lined over second and headed to right center field. Holt got a late jump, but he's going to round third and score without a throw. Bogaerts has his second hit and his first RBI of the night. It's now a 3-2 game.
And another one after falling behind 0-2. Their approach is so good when they're behind in the count. They ought to just go up there and figure it's 0-2 when they get up there. This is on a 1-2 count. Inside out stroke. And laced it.
So now Pedroia stands in. The last guy you want to see in a tight game in this park. And he takes a strike. Four 2-strike hits for the Red Sox tonight. Inside.
Nothing wrong with Carpenter's velocity. He's 95 to 97.
That one at 97 and a strike as well. John Farrell can pick his spot to use David Ortiz. He was not in the starting lineup tonight. Little tapper up the middle. La Stella boots it. Bogart's in safely at second. Pedroia at first, and still nobody out.
I think this will go as a base hit because La Stella did field it, but he's going down. Well, no, he did boot it. You're right. Didn't have it cleanly. Almost like he thought maybe Andrelton was going to get there and didn't. And couldn't come up with it at that point.
3 hits, 2 errors, and 1 run in this Boston 8th. And now Carpenter has to face Pierzynski.
Pierzynski's a slow runner. David Carpenter's not exactly your ground ball artist because he's out there firing mid-90s fastballs. They really could use a ground ball double play here or a strikeout. Pierzynski's been falling behind in the count, but then spoiling some good pitches by just putting the ball in play. Kimbrel up in the 8th.
Believe it or not, they scored that play for Pedroia, a hit. So 3 straight hits for the Red Sox. And Pierzynski jumps on the first pitch, base hit. Here comes Bogarts at third. Ball dropped by B.J. Upton. And Bogarts will score standing up. The Braves defense has been offensive in the 8th inning.
He went out and got what looked like a fastball away. Hit it hard. BJ's charging hard. Got a great bounce. But took his eye off of it and hit off the end of his glove. He was already looking toward home plate. And that'll be a base hit and an E8.
No RBI, I would presume, for Pierzynski because Bogarts was being stopped at third base by Brian Butterfield. We'll wait for the scoring on that. As it stands now, Boston has tied the game 3-3 in the 8th inning. 4 hits, 2 errors, might have been a third. And Johnny Gomes the batter. Infield in for the Braves. The pitch, a strike. Yeah, no RBI for Pierzynski, who stands at first. Pedroia, the go-ahead run, 90 feet away. 0-2.
And these big innings for Boston have just worn the Braves out in 3 out of the 4 games, and it started again with a little dump base hit to left field. And another ball on the infield where a play probably should have been made and wasn't.
Swing and a miss. That ball was really biting in on the hands of Johnny Gomes, and he couldn't resist swinging, and he's the first out.
Huge strikeout. Tied him up and in. And Freddie Gonzalez on his way to the mound.
So Grady Sizemore is the Boston hitter. The Braves will go with the lefty-lefty matchup here with Boston runners first and third. 2 in, 1 out in the home 8th.
Transmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Long inning continues for the Red Sox, who have tied things up in the 8th inning. 3-3 is our score. Grady Sizemore is the hitter. David Carpenter taken down by Freddie Gonzalez, who turns the ball over to left-hander Luis Avilan.
Luis Avilan has been in 2 of these games against Boston, both in Atlanta. And he did face Grady Sizemore 2 days ago, but it was a rough outing for Luis. He gave up a couple of runs in a third of an inning, and one of those runs was produced on a ground out to short by Sizemore.
Big cut on the first pitch. And fouled back for a strike. This may be the most important statistic for a reliever in this situation. First batter faced. Avilan this year has retired 15 of 25 first batters. And he missed low. Another important stat is inherited runners who score. Avilan has inherited 16. 4 have come home. Pedroia represents the go-ahead run. Brzezinski at first. And fouled back by Grady Sizemore. A ball and 2 strikes.
That strikeout of Gomes was huge at this point to give the Braves an opportunity to get a double play ball and get out of the inning with a tie.
Big Poppy might be the card played by John Farrell in the 8th. Ground ball foul. Swing and a miss. Sizemore didn't get that off-speed pitch. And Avilan gets the first man, Grady Sizemore. But the big cheer you hear is because David Ortiz will be announced.
That was a great breaking ball from Avilan. Avilan faced Ortiz in that 4-run inning a couple of days ago. And Ortiz dropped that one down the left field line, you might remember. He didn't even know where it went. Popped it up, dropped it in for a hit.
Ortiz has had good luck against the Braves. 3 for 10 with a homer and a team-leading 5 RBIs at the start of tonight's play. Third man for Boston to hit in the 7th spot on the lineup card tonight. 1-0 to Ortiz.
They're going to put him on. How about that? They're going to put him on with runners at first and third and pitch to David Ross.
So the question is, almost certainly you can't let Avilan face David Ross, can you? Braves have double barrel action in the bullpen. You mentioned Kimbrel was up. Who else is with him?
I think it was Barbaro, but I think he just got up. Kimbrel's ready. Let's see if there's a chance that it'll be more than just a one-inning outing for Kimbrel.
So Avilan goes a third of an inning, a walk and a strikeout. The bases are loaded for Boston in the 8th inning with 2 outs. And it's going to be Craig Kimbrel in the 8th inning. I like it. 3-3 game. We'll see how Craig fares at Fenway next. There are 2 outs. They've scored 2 in the 8th to tie it. And sometimes the game needs to be closed in the 8th as well as the 9th. That's certainly the case for Craig Kimbrel tonight.
Well, and it wasn't like David Ross had to go back to the dugout for a scouting report on Craig Kimbrel, even though he has not pitched in this series. I think David Ross got a very good idea about what he's going to have to do here with Craig. But I like what Freddie Gonzalez did. He basically took David Ortiz, made him a non-factor, loaded him up. The runner at third's the one he's worried about the most, and he thought he'd get this matchup and be better for the Braves. I like it.
Mike Karp is the pinch runner at first. Brzezinski at second, Pedroia at third as Kimbrel faces David Ross, who showed bunt, And skies one out of play, foul.
That drew a gasp from 37,000.
Strike one to the Boston catcher. That nearly grazed him. Close pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. High fly to left. Upton at the edge of the warning track is there, and that retires the side. Boston cashed in 4 singles, 2 outfield errors for 2 game-tying runs, and we head to the 9th. 3-3 game. Top of the 9th inning. Before we reset your ball game, let's reset our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Since 2004, who's the only pitcher with more strikeouts and a lower ERA than Jake Peavy?
I'm going to go CC Sabathia.
CC Sabathia. I said Josh Beckett because he was in the news last week. He's a former Red Sox. We'll see if either one of us is right. It's King Felix. Ace right-hander with the Seattle Mariners. Might see King Felix.
We go to the top half of the 9th.
Yes, let's just move on. As Mike Garp takes over at first base for the Red Sox, and they'll bring on their closer, Koji Uehara.
He's been getting a lot of work in this series because the Red Sox have won the first 3 games. Saving game 1, saving game 2. And he was warming up last night.
Ryan Doumit lines a first pitch single to right field. So there's a start for the Braves in the 9th.
Well, we have seen from Uehara in the 3 outings he's come in, he likes to throw that first pitch fastball down the middle and get ahead. And Doumit was ready, and he'll make way for Jordan Schaefer.
So Doumit 1 for 4. Schaefer at first now for La Stella. Tommy 0 for 3.
See if the Braves are bunting.
They are. La Stella got it down, but it's going to bounce foul. Stella got that one down. And there's only one play, and it's to first in time. Sacrifice for La Stella.
Nice job. Nicely done by Tommy to get that runner over. Offensively, the Braves have done some good things tonight, moving runners up, getting them in scoring position. Now a couple of chances to retake the lead.
Anderson with a 2-hit game, singles in the 5th and 7th. Schaefer can fly. Pedroia tries to keep him close at second. And a strike. Ground ball toward Bogaerts at short. And a perfect throw is the second out. Jason Hayward's 2 for 4. Earlier tonight, he earned our SunTrust Shining Moment Awards.
Boy, he hit a rocket out of here in the 3rd inning off Jake Peavy. He just threw his glove in the air. He had a pretty good idea of what was about to happen.
Almost as good a reaction as David Ross behind the plate. He just slumped his shoulders and his head looked at his shoe tops. We'll settle for a single here if we can get one from Jason.
First pitch fastballs to Dolman. First pitch fastball to Simmons, but threw a splitter there at 81.
One ball, one strike. Tipped and caught. Hayward and the Braves are retired in the 9th inning. Boston comes up 9-1-2 on their lineup card in a 3-3 game. Red Sox up for the bottom of the 9th inning. Craig Kimbrell will work more than one inning. He came on with the bases loaded in the 8th inning and got David Ross to fly out to the warning track in left. Now the challenge is recharge the batteries, recharge the adrenaline, and get after it with no margin for error. Game's tied at 3.
Yeah, and a similar inning to the 8th in that you've got Jackie Bradley Jr. leading off. He's got good speed. Don't want him to reach. So first things first, keep him off the sacks to start the inning.
Bradley is 0 for 3 tonight. Coming off hits, the back-to-back games with multi-hits for Boston. Here's Johnson in at third. Freeman even with the bag at first. And way high, ball 1. Curveball missed inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Bradley, then Holt, then Bogarts. Then you got to worry about Pedroia. He would be the 4th hitter of the inning.
The concern for John Farrell's got to be that he's the only catcher he's got left is the guy that's in the game, and that's David Ross. And the only position player that I have seen on the scorecard that's left is Jonathan Herrera. Remember, Levanway's a catcher, and he had to leave with an injury. And Brzezinski is out of the game, and he was originally the DH. I beg your pardon, Brzezinski was not pinch hit for. He is still in there.
3 balls and a strike to Jackie Bradley. Base is empty, 9th inning. A leadoff walk in a tie game in the 9th. Now the interesting strategy for the Red Sox. Do they bunt? Or do they let Holt swing away here? He's had a big night. 3 hits and 4 tries.
I'll be very surprised if he's not bunting. If he gets him moved up to second base, it'd force the Braves to pitch to Bogarts. They wouldn't walk him to get to Pedroia. And the good side for the Red Sox on that is that Bogart's been swinging a hot bat.
1-2 men on the Boston lineup card. Have 5 hits in the game. There's a strike.
Now then, the effort becomes, can you bunt Craig Kimbrell?
Right.
That's not going to be easy. And I would not, especially now that you've already got a strike, I would not give him a slider, something that's a little slower that gives him a chance to get it down. I'd see if he could bunt 98.
Whoa! Freeman had to stretch out to handle that pickoff throw at first.
2 in a row that were in that same spot.
It was a breaking ball, and Holt got the bat back in time. 1 ball, 1 strike. I agree with your strategy of not making it easier for Holt to bunt with a breaking ball. But as we've seen of late, at times Craig has had fastball command problems.
You're exactly right, and was demonstrated there.
Missed with that one. 3 balls and a strike. Bogarts is next. Back-to-back walks. And now the stage is set for the young Boston shortstop. Here's looking at you, kid.
Helpless feeling for the manager. Got your closer out there, the guy you depend on to finish up games, and he got the Braves out of the 8th. But he can't go out and throw it over the plate for him.
The man that matters is the man at second, and he can fly. Jackie Bradley Jr. Bogarts, 2 on, nobody out.
See if he's bunting. No sign.
A double, an RBI single, and a run scored for Bogarts. The run tied the game at 3 an inning ago.
And remember, they've already used Big Papi. Braves walked him and made him a non-factor. He's out of the game.
Foul ball, strike 2.
And in case of the Red Sox, they've got the Braves right where they want them, a 2-strike count. Bogarts did a great job earlier tonight on a 2-strike count going the other way.
4 2-strike hits for Boston, among their 11 in the game. Kimbrel's set at his 0-2. Hot shot. Johnson speared it. He'll fire to second. Ball got away from La Stella. Here comes Bradley. Throw to the plate, and Boston wins the game. A 2-strike smash speared by Chris Johnson. He tried to get the force at second. The ball got away, and that was more than enough for Bradley to come galloping home.
Was not a bad throw. It may have had a little sinking action on it because Chris was throwing from such an odd angle, but it was not a bad throw.
The Braves defense let him down late, and 2 critical walks to start the 9th inning turn into a Boston walk-off win and a sweep.